What are the deliverables from the Giraffe Pro Camera? How are automations and AI applied to the deliverables, and why does this matter? How can the Giraffe Pro Camera, without shooting video, generate marketing videos in 4 styles? Stay tuned. Hi all, I'm Dan Smigrod, founder of the We Get Around Network Forum. Today is Wednesday, November 12th, 2025. You're watching WGAN-TV live at 5, a podcast for digital twin creators shaping the future of real estate today. We have an awesome show for you: Giraffe Pro Camera and Giraffe360 platform for real estate photographers. Our subject matter expert is Giraffe360 Senior Product Designer Janis Beinerts. Janis, thanks for being on the show.
Hi, Dan. Super excited to be here.
Janis, before we do a deep dive into the Giraffe Pro Camera and Giraffe360 platform, what is your role as Senior Product Designer at Giraffe360?
So I'm working together mostly on the hardware team, together with the team in cameras engineers, designers, software engineers. So we're more as a team working towards existing product optimizations and development of the new ones. And the Pro Camera that we're going to speak today is on our latest hardware edition that comes together with the platform. And part of my kind of responsibilities is also to be as a project manager, so linking not just the camera team internally, but also with the rest of the product teams. Because we have quite many product teams, as you can imagine. It's just not just a hardware. Hardware is just an enabler, but the real magic starts when you start steering towards the content, how it's created, what's the value for the users. So it's quite a multidisciplinary, I would say, development kind of job that I usually go do bits here and there.
And congratulations on the launch of the Giraffe Pro Camera. Today, Wednesday, November 12th, 2025, camera begins shipping. It's been out there for some time for beta testers, but today, anyone that's placing an order for the Giraffe Pro Camera, shipping begins today. How about we begin? Because what I'd like to do today is have you take us through all the different deliverables that are possible as a result of the Giraffe Pro Camera. How about starting with a property website as the first deliverable?
That's a great plan. Let me just. So I think I would be glad to show a couple of properties, how they're captured, what's delivered to the clients, to the users, and how is it kind of fundamentally in our mind changes how the real estate, and especially residential real estate, can be marketed. Because we have a bit different mindset. We believe that one of our goals or key milestones is can we help photographers and agents sell listings faster. And we already see that with our previous generation camera, we are helping these properties to be sold up to 7 days faster. And with the Pro Camera, which comes with more functionality, more assets, we believe that will increase even more. Because we're not just focusing on a single asset. We believe that the real magic starts when you can deliver a bundle of multi-channel media that can be used for portal, for MLS, for socials, prints, emails, and all this as a campaign works much better than just a stills or a virtual tour. We see once you have this engaging content, a part of the listing, the response is up to 4 times better, like more click rates, more engagement time, which eventually leads to more leads. And this is kind of what is the fundamentally in our mindset when it comes to all of these assets. And because we see it needs to be multi-channel, multi-asset, it can be overwhelming. For example, I'm bringing here. I hope you see my screen.
I do. We're going to cover a lot of what you're discussing. So let's go into that deliverable. I think we're even looking at a dashboard that's internal. Could you flip that and show us exactly what a real estate agent would receive as a property website?
Yeah. So this is, as you said, all of it. But let's just jump into one of the assets, which is single property website, which is automatically generated single listing property where we automatically distribute the most key, most beautiful assets across the kind of property or website layout,
So
starting
the
with,
first asset that you're showing is a single property website that's created automatically by the Giraffe
yes,
360 platform. Take us through literally what are the digital assets that have been created by Giraffe 360 and delivered within this page.
right. So we're going to come back to it at one point. So obviously, as a photographer or agent, you still need to go to the property using our Pro camera, capture everything, and then once it's uploaded, we process all the data, all the raw files, and create multiple assets. In this case, in this website, we immediately populate them and showcase what are they. So starting with HDR visuals, HDR single images that you can browse through in a gallery view or just see the key visuals. Then we allow the user to immediately add some details about the property itself, the square footage, the pricing, how many rooms, the key information that you would, as a buyer, look forward to,
So
the
for
location.
clarification there, Janis, is anyone entering that data, or is that an automation that's possible through AI and generates that content?
So some of this is already populated automatically. For example, area, because we generate floor plans, so we know what is the area of the property. Same goes with like a location, but we do allow the user to specify individually what of these individual ones are shown or not shown. So there's an editor in place where, as a user, you can hide stuff, add your own kind of comments or data, and it is also centralized data. So I guess if I
But
for a
let's
sec,
stay on this page. Think about it like this. I'm
yeah,
a real estate agent. I don't really care how any of
yeah,
this was done. Whatever the magic behind the curtain, just show me as a real estate agent what you're delivering to me.
yeah,
So I see the single property website. It looks beautiful. I see some information. What other digital assets are available to me as the agent?
right. So one of the ones that we already saw are images.
Oh,
Then
you
we
went a little bit
also,
fast for me. I want to say there was a map. Can you go take me back up to the
right.
map?
So this is the area where we show key information. Like I mentioned, key metrics about the property, but we also locate the property's location on the map, which is also not in this specific case, because this is our internal test property, but you would also you would see automatically place some key local highlights like schools, restaurants, cafe. So it gives an insight what is the neighborhood also around this property. Um, so that just gives a little extra content to the property
And I
itself.
imagine this is interactive. So if I clicked on that marker,
This one, no, but you would be able to select the ones that maybe I'll show another property. We'll see if we can play around with that functionality there.
okay. So that is a function that's available. This happens to be on your test site, and it's not enabled on this particular example.
Exactly.
Okay. And then I
Uh,
think you were about to show us floor plans.
yes. So there are two kind of key views for the floor plan. This one is a three-dimensional one that you can, as a viewer in this property, directly interact it. The whole website is responsive for both desktop view and also on mobile. And you can see how it looks from the bird's eye and get highlights of a specific room right away if you're curious to zoom in. Another really cool thing is that like it automatically adjusts the model so you can see kind of through the walls, and that this gives you like a good first impression of the property, what it's like. You can also
Can I select one of those rooms and actually view it?
yes. So when you select a room, it also kind of allows you, gives you like this indicator right here, but also when you select it, you can immediately jump into our virtual panoramic 3D tour. So you don't need to open a separate link. You don't need to so it's basically integrated from a 3D floor plan directly into panoramic view, and you can see what it actually looks like within the
Oh,
property.
Janis, I'm going to ask you more about the 3D tour later in the program. So I still want to stay, if we could, back onto, yeah. So now you're about to show, I think, the 2D version of the floor plan. And incidentally, that 3D model is amazing, and the interactivity of it is amazing.
Yes, so for clarity, we also believe it's nice to show also this classic top-down two-dimensional floor plan view as well, which you can also edit it. We'll come back to that, but you can see the name, the square footage of the rooms. Again, you can also highlight them, zoom in, etc. And you can switch immediately back and forth between this immersive view or check the room if you want to see it right away, or step out of the the model and view it as a whole thing. And if the property has multiple floors, you can kind of toggle them here. This particular one is single level property, but we'll show you a property that has multiple floors, so you could switch between the floors as well, right in the corner. And this is pretty cool. This is like this is the immersive content we're talking about, right? One thing
Yeah,
is
we're going
seeing
to
it.
do a little bit deeper dive on this as well. So I'm still like at the top view, see about all the digital assets that get delivered, and then we'll go back and revisit each of these with a little bit deeper dive.
Perfect. It sounds good. So if we move forward, at the end, you can also, as an agent, immediately add your branded kind of call to action site, your photo, your name. So what this property website is doing is not just showcasing to a photographer or agent itself what are the assets we deliver to you. The key function is that you can also use it for off-portal marketing. So whenever you're posting a social post or other posts, those posts will also lead to this property website. And when you're filling out the contact form, hey, I want to know more about this property, you just directly dial in your name, your contact details, submit it, and this creates directly cost-free leads for the agent. And in this kind of user kind of access portal, you will instantly get a notification. This person is send you a message, and this is how this becomes a hub where all the kind of these off-portal marketing assets are directing the users, the visitors, so you can get more leads in a
Great,
much better manner.
great. Can you take us back up to the top on the single property website?
Yes.
So on the menu there, gallery, details, floor plan, map. I feel like I was expecting to see video as one of the options.
Video integration is still coming. It's not there yet. We'll come back to the video as an asset. At the moment, video we have started with kind of the social post area and YouTube area. This is the area where the video has the biggest impact as we see. Because, for example, portals are not really there with the video usage, but off-portal marketing, especially on a social media, this is where the video shines. So
Could I expect that video will be added to the single property website?
I will check with my team. I actually don't know. I cannot give you exact date, but
Okay.
if I can speak out of my mind, this is a natural kind of next step, I would say, because
Yes.
we do believe that the property website needs to have as much kind of useful data, interactive assets that engages the user so they can get a full picture of the properties. And obviously video is one of them.
Yeah. The other
Uh,
thing I was expecting, Janis, excuse me, was a flyer, kind of a button that would take me to a perhaps a PDF from the user standpoint that had downloaded a flyer. Is that something that will be added to that menu?
Cannot say directly at the moment, but we do produce flyers as well automatically as part of the kind of asset bundle
Okay.
that the agent and the photographer can send directly, let's say, through the email or print them out. I don't believe they're integrated in the property website at the moment as we speak, but that's one thing to kind of look forward as well in the future. Because one of the things I guess I have to mention to some degree is that this is pretty new product. And we're basic to some degree, we're definitely promising every 30 days to have like a major update, but in reality is it comes almost every second, every other week. So what I'm showing here is kind of our first step, and same goes with the kind of 3D floor plan that we added a couple of weeks ago. So I think it's fair to say that the improvement's going to come almost on a weekly basis. What you mentioned there might be one of those that we're going to
Yeah,
see in the
I
future.
just think intuitively the flyer, since you're creating that digital asset, and the video, since you're creating that digital asset, just seems like it would be a logical thing to add those buttons. Can you take us back up to Janis, if you can hear me, you've actually
Yeah,
you're frozen.
I'm
Okay,
back.
you're
Yeah, yeah.
free. Um, the Could you take us back up to the top of the property website? Okay, and gallery. I imagine the gallery is all the different photos. Perhaps this, if you could select gallery, and then that I think is a natural segue to go in to talk about the HD photos that get delivered, and perhaps what the features are of that. So when you click on gallery, what happens?
So this is like a navigation tool. So it just slides the page directly to the content, same with the
Yes.
details. Uh, Once you're there, you can click on any of the images and
Okay.
open
So
up the
this
gallery.
are all the images there?
It's
Yeah.
not. I would need to check. I believe it's all of them, but you can also. I think you can also edit it, and we try to create an algorithm that will, at least in this initial view, prioritize the best kind of quality image from composition perspective. From we are running through kind of algorithms that check what images kind of lead to better results. For example, um, facade of the property will be one of them that
Hmm.
does a good effect
Okay. Uh, let,
in
let's
that sense.
let's transition to HD photos. I took you off screen share. Maybe before you even share photos at a little greater depth, if you could just talk about the features of HD photos. What does that mean, and how is that possible?
Okay, I think it starts all with the capture, obviously. So we have, maybe I'll just showcase it for a second. We'll come back to this. So the start always comes at the capture. You need to have capture high quality data in the first place that you can work with afterwards. So we're using uh, 1-inch sensor and we are capturing in a bracketed manner. So we capture 3 exposure shots per single image, and then in the post we combine them to create this high definition image. So that's kind of step 1, and it applies for both still images and also for a panorama. Both kind of benefit from the same process. And what I'm going to mention in what kind of editing and enhancements they apply both to single and panorama. So starting with the exposure, this gives us ability to see in also even in a darker, not so well lit places, a really well lit kind of environment. So this is something you cannot often do with some handheld devices. That's why you actually need a tripod to actually spend that time to gather the light, even if the light is not perfect. Second thing is then we merge them together and we correct the white balance, we correct the color, we make sure there's no a kind of color bleed. And when I say we, it's actually the multi-language models, AI, that is, this whole pipeline is completely automated. But I'll guess I'll come back to this one. Another thing that we do is we work with sky replacement. Let's say you were capturing the property when it was cloudy. We have ability to automatically crop out the existing cloudy sky and replace it with nice clouds, blue sky, both for stills, both for panoramas. And now we also are able to apply this for indoor panoramas as well. So when you're looking through the window, you will always see exterior, and that exterior will also have blue sky replacement, which is something I don't think many or at all are doing, at least in automatic manner. And another thing that is automatically done that would take some while to do it manually is our kind of privacy settings. So our AI model understands the content of the image. So if there is a person in the shot, or let's say, or a face of a person in a picture frame, it automatically detects the face and blurs around it automatically. So there's no privacy issue. That's why when you upload the data, you can pretty much immediately start posting it, knowing that it will be kind of privacy, etc., will be taken care of. This applies to faces, it applies to number plates, location addresses, etc. You can also, as a user, then go into editor and add some more blurred areas or remove them manually. So when we talk about automation, we're talking about like 90%, 95% is done automatically, but then you as a user can still go into edit mode, change the color correction, add some these blurred masks, or even remove some objects. We also have a object removal tool in the editor, where if you missed something on the shot, like maybe your own bag, you can take it out without the need to download the image. It's done in our editor right away.
Cool. I think when you were showing some of the other images in the single property website, there looked like there was a watermark for Giraffe360 there. Is there an option for the photographer to either add the watermark by default or not have watermarks?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked this, because before our call, I was just playing around with it. So by default, there's no watermark of any kind, but you as a user can add your own brand, your own logo to it. In this case, this was our kind of test property, so I added Giraffe360, but it can be you just upload your own PNG file and it's there. When you download assets, you can choose you want it with the watermarks, you want it without the watermarks. And the cool thing is we have a little editor as well, where you can adjust the scale, the color of it, the placement of it, and that's automatically populates all of the assets. But the cool thing is nothing is kind of permanent. You can toggle show it, don't show it, depending on your needs, depending on your collaboration with agents.
So, so old school workflow would be photographer gets back the pictures, either edits them themselves in Photoshop or Lightroom or other platforms, maybe has some presets, plugins, maybe sends it to a video and a photo editor. Generally, that process takes overnight. I think what I'm hearing, AI does all this for you automatically, and what's the turnaround time for the photos?
Yeah, you're pretty much spot on. So the flow is, once you're done with the capture of the property, you upload the assets directly to our server. You don't need to mess around with SD cards, sticks, etc. You just press upload, it goes directly from the camera. Well, you have to connect to Wi-Fi, but that's basically it. Once the upload's done, we start processing actually right away while the upload's happening. We start with the images because those are the fastest. The images, depending on the volume, I would say, but those come under 2 hours. We still are adjusting for the US when it comes to the working hours. So some weekends can be slower, but if it's a regular working day, they can be expected for sure in the same day, but up to under 2 hours. You will get the email that images are done, and once the rest of the assets, like property website, floor plan, virtual tour, you get another notification that those that are more advanced assets are also done. So once we have something, we let you know that you already can start reviewing them, editing them, and move. And so that lets you move faster. And like you said, the goal is to, for example, sell listings faster, right? One of the key aspects is also to actually start listing faster. So you want to get those assets as fast as possible because, you know, a cliche, but time is money to some degree, and you don't want to lose the momentum, especially early on.
Yes. So I think what I've also heard, correct me if I'm wrong, help me understand this, is the AI has a preset of what Giraffe360 has decided to deliver images automatically. That includes automatically taking care of the window polls for windows to inside outside look nice, the blue sky replacement, etc. And then two things may happen. Photographer may change a individual photo or an individual panorama or globally change the settings, but I think a photographer can also set the presets going forward for
Yes.
how all the content gets delivered with the photographer's presets. Is that?
It's correct. Should I actually show it? It might be easier to get or should we
Yes, and
wait for it?
just a moment. I just want to just stay on this topic because it sounds like this is. I want to say that everything about editing a photo is an art versus a science, and we all have an opinion on how much color saturation, how much tone, etc. So I believe what's happening is Giraffe360. It says we'll deliver the pictures like this, and if you want to change anything on anything we've delivered, you have that ability. And oh, by the way, if you have a preset on how you like to edit your photos or your panoramas, you can add those settings globally going forward to all your jobs. Is that correct?
You actually nailed it. I wouldn't be able to explain it as well as you did. So
I mean, that's
like
huge. That's
it
absolutely
is,
huge because
yeah,
I
it
want to
is.
say the assumption on automation and AI is it is one size fits all. And for Draft
Oh no,
360,
no, no,
no, it's not the
definitely
case
not.
at all. The AI will do exactly what it is that is your style that makes you as a photographer unique. And that's what your clients are expecting is your style of photography.
I actually can add a bit of more actual detail on this one. When you create your account, can even there at the account creation stage play around. We have this kind of onboarding stage where we show an image, and you can immediately play around with the colors, with the contrast, the exposure levels, and right there you can already create this kind of preset which is your preference, because we know it's individual preference is one thing, and then there's these regional trends. We know, for example, flamboyant works better in USA or versus Scandinavia. They're like maybe more cool tones, more classic, and that's so it's like you say, when it comes to what is a good image, it's often more about subjective preference than the science, right? And we're not we want to kind of be helping the photographer to do this more efficiency instead of pushing our own style. This is definitely not where we want to step in. So we give them tools to do it in a more efficient way. AI will do the heavy lifting when it comes to assembling the image, correcting the initial white balance, contrast, etc., but then applying your preferences to them automatically. And it's up to you. You want this to apply to a single image? That's great. If you want, you can just toggle one click and it will be applied to all of the projects ahead, the current project. So this gives
Could you
you,
show us that feature? I know there's dozens
yeah.
and dozens of features, but the one little, and we could do an entire show just on the level of detail that a photographer has control over the HD photos and the 360 panoramas. But I think the one thing I want to be able to see is where do I set globally all my settings of how I like color saturation, etc. And I know this can be
Okay.
hard to do because you have so many different tools that are available to touch. But if you could just absolutely just focus on that one feature, where do I set my presets for all my jobs going forward in my style?
Well, let's try. So I'm at the moment in this specific project, but let's step back. So if I select projects, I'll see all of my projects. And we have a section called presets. Here you can define asset-specific presets for floor plans, virtual tours, property website. But like you said, let's focus on still photos. If I select the still photos, this is where I can create my own preset. I have an option to tailor my preferences both for indoor shots, but also for outdoors. Because we know there's a difference, so we allow two styles for both indoor and outdoor. We here give a kind of a standard template images, but I'll come back to another way to do it. But let's just use this as an example. So one thing, you can have these simple kind of sliders. You can adjust exposure levels, right? Saturation, and we know it's going to be very nuanced. We don't let you go completely off the board to still keep the quality high. But let's say you can manually play around. Once you're happy, you create your own style. So, and that's added to the list. Another
And then
interesting,
top right, save and close, and you're done.
exactly.
Awesome.
But
Let's do that. Let's take it off of screen share.
okay.
And
Um,
it, it sounded like you wanted to show me something else.
I wanted to show just that one thing is playing around with individual values, but we also offer free kind of this template where it's already a bit more tailored from us, but like we just did, you can ignore that and create your own. But you can also play around with already pre-created presets as well. That's the only thing I wanted to show.
Yeah,
But let's
that's
say,
awesome. Yeah, yeah. Thank you for showing that. Yeah, and I'm going to just take it off sharing for a moment. Thank you for showing that because you can at least go through like, oh, I like warm colors, I like bright. So you pick a preset, and then from the preset start doing variations from there. Save it to your preset, and I think watching how easy that was, Janis, oh, for client A, I'm gonna have a preset because this is what they prefer, and for client B, I'm gonna have a preset for them. Is that can I do it at that level, or no? The pictures are going to come back, the tour is going to come back, but then I'm going to change the preset because I have one particular client that likes things differently than what my global default is.
um, you can apply it project by project basis. Yeah. And you can create as many presets as you want. And then once the property is done, you can select, okay, apply this preset, this image color corrections, for example, to this specific property.
So is the preset before everything processes, or is the preset applied after everything processes?
I might not know exactly, but as I believe it, the once the property is captured, it will use your last kind of chosen preset as a version that it's going to be delivered to you. So in this case, if I have this my style selected, I go to property, capture it, upload it, it will be rendered and delivered to me through this my style preset. But then I can still change it project by project basis once it's delivered to me
Oh,
individually anyways. Yeah.
all right, awesome. I think that takes us to the 3D virtual tour. Even before showing and telling an actual tour example, at the very top level, talk about the 3D tour that gets delivered by Giraffe 360. If you
Right.
feel it's easier to show and tell, that's fine. But if you want to just talk about it before you show, that's fine too.
Yeah, let's introduce it first without showing. So the classic virtual tour, which is um, 360 panoramic views, is kind of our very like a staple of our product lines. We keep optimizing it, and we're gonna have another kind of update soon. But what it is essentially is allows this is one of the first immersive assets that's been around. Everyone is aware of it, and it allows you to jump into the property right away and see how it looks. You still need to kind of move and navigate around the property. What's different with Giraffe that we also show a side minimap. So in case you get lost or you want to skip a room and jump to a specific location, you can select also the minimap to move forward. But as before, as similar to other tours, you can also just click on the ground and select, okay, I want to move forward, and it brings you to the next viewpoint.
Let's go, if you would, cue one up to show us. That would be awesome. Also, later in the program, we'll talk about a special offer to save 10% for the first 12 months of your plan. Stay with us for that. Yeah, if you could show and tell on that Giraffe 360 virtual tour, that would be great.
All right, let's do it. So I guess you can see my screen.
Yes.
So we already are into the virtual tour of the same property which we saw previously. Using my mouse, I can drag and look around, up and down, everywhere. And these close by, we call them hotspots, is something that if you click on, you move forward. And this lets you go through the property and explore it on your own time. And as we mentioned when talking about image enhancements, you can kind of see the view outside. So we're indoors, but the view through the glass, through the windows is perfect. And the blue sky replacement's already there. And all of these single panorama consists of 5 these HDR images being stitched together. So this is one of the reasons a lot of data is being placed in, but it pays off because you can also zoom in and see in good enough resolution that you get a good kind of details coming through. So that's kind of what we're pretty proud of. But again, like you said, resolution, visual style is individual, but regardless, this allows to explore the property. And this is
I was expecting to see some additional features in here. Something
there
where,
are some, yeah.
okay.
So one additional feature is that you can, let me see, I'm actually missing one. Maybe we'll come back to it. There was a feature where you can also measure right at the property, but maybe my site has not been properly loaded in. I need to check. We'll maybe show it on another property, but
Okay.
you would have like a measurement tool that you can select and see what's dimension right
You
away.
want to call up a different property so you can show that? I was looking for a hotspot.
Let me see. Maybe I check in the background and come back to this because it
Yeah,
is
that's
quite
fine.
important thing to mention that it's not just image we're using in this virtual tour. In the background, there is a point cloud data that allows us to measure the space of the property right away. So I'm gonna load in
Okay,
another
while you're
project.
doing that, I'll talk about a special offer. When you go to giraffe360.com/price, if you enter the coupon code, the voucher code WGAN, you'll save 10% for the first 12 months. Giraffe 360 has done an amazing job in terms of pricing. They just announced within the last 7 days that it's $360 per month all in. Everything is included. So is there a charge for hosting? No. Is there a charge for storage? No. Is there a charge for the size of the property? No. It's literally $360 a month. There is a kind of like unlimited use, except it's kind of like what's fair and reasonable, and that's at the moment is up to 60 properties a month. And there's a satisfaction guarantee or your money back, a 60-day satisfaction guarantee or your money back. So if you order Giraffe Pro Camera, get everything, use the entire platform, $360, you use it for 2 months, you decide it's not right for you, just cancel and get your first 2 months back. And again, at $360, you can save 10% off that for the first 12 months with the voucher code WGAN. Janis, you wanted to show us another model?
Yeah, yes. I brought up one that you can also see on our website. This was just more convenient. I wanted to highlight this kind of measurement tool that we have, because this highlights this hidden data that's integrated with the virtual tour as well, which is our measurement tool. So let's see, maybe this. Okay, let's pick a door as a good example. So you can just drag and check what's the distance right in this tour. Which is very helpful, especially if you need to plan if my furniture is going to fit in, if you have specific
Okay,
requirements. So that's pretty neat, already built in.
awesome. Hotspots?
Another thing is, yes, hotspots. You can add, in this case, let me step back. If you're a creator of this virtual tour as a photographer, you can actually add this location-based information tags. I was not prepared to actually showcase them, but they would look like an info icon. And as a viewer, once you go through the virtual tour, you can click on it and get additional information. There's one more cool functionality when it comes to the virtual tours, that we also offer gated tours, meaning you as a photographer or agent can set the virtual tour in a way that in order to view it, you need to add your contact details. This is very popular, especially in some Euro countries, where this generates, again, more leads, more contacts to come back to. This is for everyone as a Giraffe360 users, there's an option for that as well. And you also can add your branding to the virtual tour, as these watermarks can be also shown in this kind of virtual tour as a floating, for example, logo. But again, you can export them without them. Especially good that we have this auto export without them, because for the MLS and portals, you really don't want any branding right away. So there's a bit more extra functions in the background that we could talk about, but that's kind of overview of the highlights.
Yes. And how long does it shoot the space in the morning? When do I get back the Giraffe 360 virtual tour?
So we are striving for same day delivery when it comes to processing times. So the second the uploading is done, we are striving for 5 hours. 2 hours is something we really want to get to. It can vary depending on the project size, on your internet speed, and also the day of the upload. Because I said we're not there yet to be completely 24/7, but when it comes to working days, same day delivery is pretty much guaranteed.
Well, will I get the tour back if I give you a more detailed scan? What I mean by that, I shoot every 3 to 5 feet instead of every 7 to 10 feet. Would that
Yes,
actually help process the tour faster?
it does. So I appreciate your kind of question, because something that I guess might be obvious, but is worthwhile mentioning, that because our pipeline is based on these algorithms, these automations, and multi-language models, the better the data we feed into this automation pipeline, the better the results. And not just, I mean, quality, but also speed of processing. So if you have captured the property in a perfect way, you help the algorithms to kind kind of render and prepare those assets faster.
Okay, cool. I think that leads us to floor plans. You started showing the 2D, the 3D floor plan earlier in the show. I'm not sure we need to look at it unless you felt there was something that we didn't see. I was more curious about file formats, languages, room labels. If it's easier to show, that's fine. If you just want to talk about it, what are all the different features that are available for 2D, 3D floor plans?
If that's okay, I would rather show it. It's a bit easier for me to do it. Let me. Just gonna share the screen. There we go. All right, so let's jump into the floor plans. I'm gonna use the same properties, so it's easy to see multiple facets. So here is the floor plan section. As with the other assets, they're automatically generated, and style and content to some degree is again based on your presets. So you can define if you want to have rooms background in a color or completely kind of monotone, if you'd like the names of the rooms being highlighted or just the dimensions and vice versa. But this is off the gate what you receive straight when you get the project delivered to you. And we can.
Is that as fast as the photos? Does it take as long as the 3D tour? Is it within 5 hours? Is that the goal at the moment, knowing that it may end up being at 2 hours?
So the photos come first and they're the fastest. The floor plan, virtual tour, the videos, they come as a bundle right after the photos. And this is what comes into this, let's call it average 5 hours, because I'm not going to disclaim it too many times, but let's call it 5 hours on average. This is what you get.
Okay. And is the AI automatically labeling the rooms?
Yes. So we have a machine learning algorithm that, based on the panoramas, understands what's the function of the room and automatically adjusts the kind of the function of it. Yeah. So for
And those
example,
room labels be changed?
yes, everything that comes to the wording and names can be edited right away. For example, let me go into the editor and I can select any of the tags right away. Let's see if I can zoom in for the screen share a bit more. Okay, there we go. For example, here, this is a bathroom. Okay, great. Bedroom, another bedroom. Let's say I want to have this, change the name to master bedroom. I can do it right away in the editor. I can also grab the tag and move it outside. For example, if I want to rearrange the kind of the layout, the style of it.
So forgive me, Janis, because I know we could do an entire show just on floor plans. So just at the top level, without doing too much of the detailed, it sounds like between the machine learning, the AI, the floor plans come back automatically, and they come back certainly at the moment within 5 hours. And there's an ability for the photographer to overwrite what the AI did. And at the same time, I think just as you had talked about the presets for photos and preset that covers photos, that covers 3D tours, you can have a preset for floor plans. So if you have a particular color palette, you want to change the disclaimer notice, you want it in meters, you want it in feet and inches, you have a preference for language. You can set your you have a preference for color palette because a particular agent likes certain colors. You want to add the client's logo on it. All that is possible with Giraffe 360.
Yeah, exactly. And you can also change the language. We have multiple languages where you can choose
What languages today?
Let me go through the list. It's quite many.
I think my notes today is English, French, German, Spanish, and other languages planned.
So when it comes to specifically floor plan, this kind of asset that's been rendered, you can export it to roughly almost 20 languages. So
20 languages.
yes,
Okay.
it does. It's not at the moment. The ones you mentioned is more primary languages that also we have in a property website, in the dashboard as an interface, etc. But for specifically for the floor plans, we have more options to choose from.
Okay. Awesome. ANSI 7Z65 standard in the United States. Is the AI created to that standard in the United States?
So yes, so we offer this standard for the USA. You have an option to choose. I believe it was at the moment 4 standards you can choose from, and this is automatically applied, and so all the measurements and area calculations are according and compliant to these standards.
Mm-hmm.
In the same time, we're looking to the next standards to include into the option list, depending on the popularity and request base. But at the moment, for example, ANSI standard being the most popular in USA, this is the key one that it's already available today. So the property can be listed right away with this standard included.
So somehow, some way, the magic of Giraffe 360, it knows the difference between a heated space and a non-heated space like a garage, and color codes the map automatically. It just magic. It
Yes.
happens. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not really magic. It's algorithms because we have a full model of the property. We know what the standards require, what kind of marking. Same goes with the headspace. If it's a slanted roof, different standards require different way to mark these areas and recalculate the area accordingly. So it's not actually that much of an AI in this case. It's more scripts. So when it comes to the floor plan, we don't want to get a false impression that this is something that is kind of generated through kind of lucid dreaming, etc. It's actually quite standardized procedure that goes through the pipelines, ensuring the accuracy and etc. And at the end, there's also a quality check that is done manually at the moment that would make sure that it's actually up to the standards of the Giraffe 360.
Mhm. Is there a human in the loop also in terms of the HD photos delivered?
Yes, there is all of the assets. Well, floor plans, virtual tour, and HDR images go through also a final stage, which is the quality check, which most of the case is super fast, just checking if there's nothing like fundamentally wrong. At the moment, when it comes to images, like 99.9 accurate in terms of there's no need for any manual involvement, but we still do it for now to make sure they come out as we
And
intended.
if the photo doesn't look right, then do the human in the loop fix the problem?
Yes, we do that. It's, as I mentioned, it's very rare that it's actually needed because our algorithms are trained on millions of properties, but sometimes it happens. And we also check, for example, if the photo comes in completely dark, we will check it. Was it a camera fault, or was it that the room had no light source, right? So it's good at these stages to check what was the issue. If it's also fixable. If it is, we'll try to fix it if needed manually, or notify that to the user that, hey, there was an issue, maybe lights or etc. But those are minor cases. But I guess we need to look through it that it's not a random thing that's been generated and just thrown to the user. There's actually also a quality kind of level that we strive to achieve, and our mission is to figure out how also to kind of make it faster, right? Even more optimized from our side, so the delivery happens faster, more accurately in the future, right?
Okay.
Go
Uh,
ahead.
Awesome. Forgive me. I wanted to move on to video. How is it possible that a camera that doesn't shoot video is able to create 4 different styles of video. Could you first take us through, here are examples of those 4 different styles, and then maybe show us what the camera, what the little magic is with the camera that enables this to all be possible. I'd like to focus on the deliverable first, and then the backstory of how you got there.
All right, let me then, should I guess then it makes sense to show it right away, right?
Yeah, is to take a look. I mean, what I'm expecting is to see 4 types of videos: speed ramp, drone, cinematic videos, a orbit drone, and a complete video for buyers in terms of styles.
Yes, let's jump right to it. Actually, for the change, I'm going to open one of our beta testers properties. Great photographer and agent Patrick Johnson has captured this one. So let's take a look on his property, the videos, and let's start with the cinematic one. So so maybe introduction. One different one is tour video, which is, I think, more familiar with existing Giraffe users, which is assembled based on panoramas. But these ones, new ones, are based on this Gaussian Splat model. So let's take a look, and then I'll explain what's the magic in the background. Let's see if I...
What style are we looking at?
So this is a cinematic one, and we have 4 templates for the cinematic one. The music is different and the rhythm is different. But just to highlight here that it's crazy that we're capturing images in a spot base, but then we create a model where we go through with a digital camera to generate video content automatically. So a user don't need to capture themselves or shoot a video. We do it, we generate it for them. And you can swap between horizontal or portrait, depending if you are intending to send it to YouTube or social media. So this was like cinematic Sunday light. Let's give another kind of flavor, similar style, but the rhythm and the music is custom built and slightly different. I hope you get the music also through.
We're not. There's a button to push on Zoom, and we could hear the music. If you want to go off of screen share, look for that button to select computer audio and then play it. Or we can skip it and just know that there's a musical bed there.
Let's see. I think the music would be share sound. Okay, I think I found it.
It's at the time of the sharing. So if you take it off of screen share, not within the video. If you stop here, let me do this for you. Just take a second. Yep, now I could hear it.
All right, so let's play it. You see the video, right? Yeah.
Okay.
All right, and so
next example. So this was cinematic. You can have it in horizontal or vertical.
Yeah.
The next example is what category?
Let's move on to virtual drone video. So it's also built on this Gaussian Splat model, and we take this as
show us the video first, then we'll talk about how it was done.
Shall I? Let's do it. Yeah, so it goes through, it generates its own path, and it kind of showcases these key areas. And as before, you can go with the portrait mode, or you can also switch to this landscape mode, depending on your preferences. I think the best results are on the portrait mode because they're more sharp. You can get this perfect like 10-second for a reel or for a TikTok. This is the biggest value, and this comes automatically from the single capture, which is which is really this magic, like you said.
Let's look at the four kinds of video, and I promise you can then talk about the magic behind
All
how
right,
this is
sorry.
done.
Yeah. Then there's another type of video that is also automatically generated, which is this tour video. And this one is slightly different. It's built on these virtual tour panoramas, but it's also unique in the sense that I will play it. There's an automatic AI voiceover on top of video, and I'll show later in the editor
This
how you can.
expansive 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom residence at 634 Lambert Drive in Slinger will wow you. Come fall in love with this home. The kitchen and living area is spacious and perfect for preparing meals, dining, and entertaining guests. This area seamlessly combines cooking and social interaction, featuring a sizable island for meal prep, comfy seating for movie nights, and a dining table for shared meals. Designed for culinary delights and socializing, this area includes...
I think you get the picture. So
Yeah, I'm going to ask you, not just yet, to go also into the back end, because what we just looked at is obviously was created automatically with workflows, AI, etc., that included a property description. That property description then ending up being text and voice, and the movement through the house for a full entire property video. But I think it's before we go perhaps look at the back end to say, oh, how could I change that opening shot of the garage, because that wasn't my first beauty shot of the property and I wouldn't want to use that. And then how can I change the text? How can I change perhaps scenes? Not quite there yet. I want you, if you could just show your fourth type of video, the speed ramp drone.
yeah, I will share it. It's not on this property, so use a video of direct way to do it. This is the speed ramp. So this is another version of this drone, but executed in a slightly different manner. This would have been perfect with the audio as well. Unfortunately, it doesn't go through, but it does give you this more immersive, punchy showcase of the property. That's gonna be, it's not out yet, but this is coming shortly as well.
When I'm looking at this, the quality is not there for me. It looks like I'm flying through data rather than flying through a high resolution panoramic images.
Yeah, so this is something to mention, I guess, in general, when it comes to Gaussian splats, that the data and the quality is directly linked of how the property is also captured. So when it comes to and I think it's good to maybe segue into a little bit in the camera itself, because this is in essence what you get out. So what do you need as a photographer at the property to get the data for the pipeline? So this is why we have our own hardware, our Giraffe camera. This is the Pro camera, the newest one. And the other highlight is our tripod, which is automatic auto high tripod. We'll demonstrate it just in a second what auto high tripod means. But the key elements are as followed. We want to capture actually a lot of data, as much as possible, because these Gaussian splat models are really hungry. So they're built on point clouds. So the camera has a LiDAR system for point cloud capture. And also the LiDAR is doing the tracking. So the camera knows exactly where it is. And this helps those scans to be merged automatically later on. Similar to how self-driving cars are using LiDAR, similar way our camera reads the environment based on a LiDAR and internal sensors like EMU. And this allows the tracking. But the magic comes from the LiDAR itself when it comes to the point clouds. The newest LiDAR is 20 times more powerful than the previous generation. And this allows in a similar time span to capture this rich point cloud data, especially great for the floor plans and the Gaussian splat as well. So I have another camera in the background. I can just showcase.
Yeah, while you're showing that, if you would, please go get set up, have your camera do its thing, the Giraffe Pro camera. I think what I wanted to point out, Janis, for any of our viewers that we just lost, I mean, you know, like, oh, all this technical stuff, that sounds frightening, I don't know what that is the short of it is you don't have to understand what a Gaussian splat is. You don't have to understand what LiDAR is. You don't have to understand what a sensor is. I see the camera moving in the background. It's rotating. It's going up and down. I think the point is you press a button and it does it, and then you upload it to the cloud. And so if you're wondering as a photographer, how do you create these videos? It's like, what's happening right now behind you is it's capturing the data, the photography, everything that needs in order to do that video. And there's all these different words that explain the magic of how this is done. But if you're a photographer and you say, I don't, or a real estate agent for that matter, if you don't really want to understand what all this technical stuff is about, you just want to have those kinds of videos, you don't have to worry about how this is done. You just press a button and then move the camera and press the button again and move the camera and press the button again. And this all is possible. And I think, Janis, to your point, is it may be some direction that you want to provide to say, well, if you really like these speed ramp videos or these drone videos, then there is a little bit of technique of camera placement in order to accomplish that, and I'll ask you to talk about that. But can you tell us what's happening right now in terms of the camera doing its thing? I think you walked over and you pressed the button, and all of a sudden it started to rotate and move the height up and down.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if you're gonna is it gonna pick up on the screen, but the camera does two things in a single scan. First, this is the LiDAR, so that rotates 360 and captures 360 point cloud data for a single scan. In the second node, we capture still images for this panoramic capture. 9 positions facing different parts of the room, and then they're merged in this spherical image. Those are those two key things. When it comes to this double scan, I know it's a bit technical, but what auto height tripod is, it's this one. This enables 2 of these scans to be captured in one go. So you don't have to come back, readjust the tripod. You just press it once and it does 2 heights. And why 2 heights is important? It's actually the more perspectives you get on the object in the place of the furniture and the space, the better the Gaussian splat is. Hence, you'll have less of these artifacts or these visual errors on the video afterwards. As long as you cover the furniture and everything from the most angles, you will have a much better result. And when it comes to, so what I guess it's good to understand the expectation of this capture process to some degree, right? Because this is not what, like, you're probably not going to have a 15-minute capture for 2,000 square meter property. That's really not possible from our tech, and it's not really the mindset. The mindset is that with one capture, which sure might take you 1 hour, 2 hours of a reasonable size property, but that will generate all of these assets that you can, as a photographer, upsell, or as an agent, directly start using in your marketing campaigns right away. And this is the power of this capture once and launch everywhere almost on the same day promise that you get from the Giraffe.
All right, we'll talk more about that. Before we move on to looking at the back end of where you can make changes in those videos, I was talking to Tom Sparks yesterday, Sparks Media Group. Tom is co-host of the WGAN-TV podcast. He says when he's had the Giraffe Pro Camera for quite some time now as a beta tester, and he said, hey, if you really want to improve the quality of the speed ramp drone videos or the drone videos, place the camera in 4 corners of the room and in the center of the room. Does that sound like what you would do, or would you do even more? No, that if you do that, then you're going to get a great result on these fly-through videos.
They're exactly, and it comes with a couple of capture cadence, like we call it, or instructions how you should capture the property with the giraffe. You don't have to imagine it. When you subscribe, there's a kind of guidance list: do this, recommendation for this and that, don't do this, etc. And you also have an onboard. You can have an onboarding session with our customer support team where you can ask these tricky questions. So obviously there is some learning curve as with any technology. But once you go through this initial onboarding, it's like you said, it's just press the button, move the camera, press the button, move the camera. You don't need to use multiple tools. It's just one camera, one tripod, and you get everything out of it. When it comes to the Gaussian Splat, we are having more kind of recommendations to get the best results. Like you mentioned, place in the corners. Why is that? Because then the drone trajectory can include more area of your property, because the kind of it's guided or restricted with the space itself, but also where you have placed these scans. Another recommendation would be go with the double scan mode. We allow you to have a single scan and also double scan mode, but double scan mode is what gets you this good Gaussian Splat quality. Another one
So
would be
an example would be if the real estate agent is only hired you to do photos, and you know there's absolutely no chance of you upselling add-ons like video, virtual tour. You might put the camera on single scan and move through the space faster. But if it was me, I would still say do the double scan, invest the time, and still attempt to say, hey, here are all these other assets, no charge on this property, but going forward, here's how we charge for that. So you can still have an upsell. I know we could do an entire show, and we probably will do an entire WGAN-TV Live at 5 show on video as a deep dive and also on the back end. I would like to move on to just see how we can change things in the back end. Again, I didn't personally like seeing the garage doors. That opening shot didn't sell me. So I'd like to know how do I change that in the video. Also, while you're setting up, Janis, for that, I just want to mention, Tom also said he's finding best practices is also, in addition to doing the corners of the room, the center of the room, is the entering of just before entering through the door, and then once you entered into the room. So he's generally doing 2 scans before and after entering a door. Does that sound something like the Giraffe360 would also advise doing?
Yeah,
Transition
exactly.
shots.
It does help immensely with understanding what's the room relation one to another. We're using SLAM technology to understand where each scan is placed. Once the data is uploaded, the algorithms also use this kind of point cloud merge algorithms. And if you have overlapping scans, it's much easier for these algorithms to make this unified point cloud data, which, by the way, we also export you can export as a separate file format, but it's not about that. When it comes to the placement, good rule of thumb is see your previous location. When it comes to the Gaussian Splat capture, go every 1.5, 2 meters max. If you don't need Gaussian Splat, you can extend the range and capture less for the floor plan and for the virtual tour needs. But for the Gaussian Splat, the key is to get a lot of scans. So that, yes, that will take a little bit more time, but it's up to you.
Forgive me, is that about every 3 to 5 feet, every 4 to 7 feet?
Yes, thank you. That would be roughly
5 to 7 feet.
5 to 7 feet. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's roughly the guidance. If the room is bigger, it will work for sure. If it's a corridor, maybe scan even more, because on a shorter distance, the way the perspective works, it actually requires you to scan more. But that's a small detail. What I want to highlight is that beforehand, we were really strict about you have to capture every property with this Gaussian Splat every 5 to 6 feet mode. But now we are actually also allowing to focus only, if you only want one room for the video, do that in a double height dense capture setting, and the rest of the property go with a single scan. Sure, you will not have a video there, but you will get all the rest of the assets in case the time is an essence, right? Again, or biggest recommendation is capture everything once, and then later you will never have to revisit the property again. You'll get all the videos, all the assets. You will not, you'll have all the rooms, etc. But we're not, in that sense, limiting the user, because we know there could be cases time is in a sense, or the property is not to the quality for the video to be worth it. But yeah, that's just a side note that you still have a
that
control
sounds
over
great.
this.
In fact, Janis, we're going to have Tom Sparks on the show talking about his experience, because he's already done a WGAN-TV podcast episode about his first Giraffe Pro Camera scan. But now, as he keeps getting more and more under his belt, we're going to have him back a little bit about his perspective on best practices when scanning and what he's doing and why. If we could go into that tour video, I just have this desire to get rid of that garage door, and please tell me that that's possible.
It is. And by the way, Tom is great. I also have spoke to him because he is our beta tester, and he gave us super good feedback. And this is why we also have these beta programs to get this initial feedback, and we're already implementing some of it. So Tom did a great test on our camera. But yeah, now we're in editor, and this is for the tour video. So you can do a lot of things here. But again, this is generated right from the scratch, but you have options to edit. One thing you can do is change the scene's order, or if you don't like, we can remove the scene entirely. So I need to move.
If you remove a scene, it's obviously taking words out. Does it then rewrite, or?
So the way this kind of description is automatically generated. There's another site I can show later where this magic happens, but you can edit any of these texts, and the length of each site is tailored to the length of the text. For example,
so if you're removing a bathroom that somehow got into the video, when you remove it, the words that are being removed are only related to that bathroom.
Yes. So let's
think of that as modular design. So
yes. Is it too loud if I play it? Let's see.
Culinary delights and socializing. This area includes inviting seating and plenty of space for gatherings.
Right. So this is one example. There's a text, there's a length of it, but let's play around. Let's see what happens if I need to move one overlay. There we go. You have a couple of options you can do here. You can replace the scene, set the duration, adjust the starting point, because this is based on the panorama, so you can actually control where does the scene starts. And this is the coolest one that I want to highlight. You can actually change the text. So this is already generated by our algorithm automatically, because it understands what's the view is about, what's the setting. But if you don't like some of it, you can change it. For example, in this case, I would just maybe shorten it. So let's say designed for culinary delights and socializing. It's not going to be great copy, but let's try. Sorry if there's a typo, but let's try. And now I'm going to say apply. What it does, it reprocesses that text. And let's see if it's also going to shrink down. And you saw that it also shrank down the length of the clip because the text is now shorter. Let's play it.
For culinary delights and socializing. Great for the whole family.
And there you go. You can re-edit all the video. You can also change the voice to your liking. We have a multiple of voice types that you can choose as your voiceover. This one is first one, but you can play it.
Welcome to this spacious 3-bedroom.
I hope the audio goes through. Okay, let's increase a bit the audio.
Welcome to this spacious 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house on High Street. Let's take a look inside.
Welcome to this spacious 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house on High Street. Let's take a look inside.
Welcome to this spacious 3-bedroom.
There are multiple, and you can apply.
Awesome. How many languages are presently supported?
Oh, you got me there. I actually don't know. I need to check.
Is it just English today, or is it truly English, French, German, Spanish?
Mm,
Phone a friend?
no. I feel a
All
bit
right. All right. Well,
yeah.
you'll shoot me an email afterwards. We'll post
Yeah.
it in the show notes so that we'll specify the languages. Can you come out of the video? Let's take it off screen share there. Um, I guess what I want to say looking at this, Janis, is, oh my gosh, there are so many photographers in the We Get Around Network forum, and if you ask them about do you offer video, often what comes back is no, I don't offer video. It's too hard. It's too labor intensive. Even though I can do the video, the amount of time it takes me to shoot the video, the amount of time that it takes me to do the post-production on the video, the changes that the client, it's just too overwhelming, and I just don't offer video. But if you go back to the statistics, I think that Mikas and Sammy had shared that there's an overwhelming demand for an insatiable demand for consuming video, particularly if you're talking about in TikTok, Reels, Instagram, whatever it is, that the expectation from the potential buyer is huge, but the actual number of agents that are posting video is actually a fraction of that potential. And so you say, well, the friction for a photographer to go learn how to do video, learn how to edit it, but even offshoring editing, it's just overwhelming, and the margin hasn't been there. So I think what you've just demonstrated is the Giraffe 360 workflow for creating videos without even using a video camera to create the video is really pretty astonishing of what is now possible through the workflows, the large language models, the AI, and then the fact that you get that long form video, which I think can be 2 to 3 minutes in length,
Yeah.
of telling the story of the house. No one wrote the script. No one got hired to do the voiceover. No one got hired to put the text up on the screen. It just works. It's just automated. You automatically get this back. So at the moment, you automatically get back in about 5 hours these different videos, and I imagine there's different within each of those 4 categories of, let's call them styles, that there are subsets of do you prefer this kind of fly-in? Do you prefer this kind of fly-in? Do you prefer this kind of fly-in? And then I guess the other thing my observation is for a photographer to say, okay, that's great, I love that, but I need to be able to change the words that are said. I need to be able to remove a scene. It's all there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a photographer can have as much control as they want in a very easy, simple, fast workflow to make changes.
That is absolutely correct. And we know that photographers are amazing what they do, right? And there's no denying it. And our intention is actually not to replace them or any of that. We're actually trying to give them more power to spend their time on things that actually give them more value. For example, if you already get this whole asset package delivered to you automatically, you just need to adjust the text, maybe add a logo of your client or your own, change the wording, press send, and then spend more time in kind of finding new deals, engaging with the clients, building those social relationships, right? So we actually free up photographer or agent the time to do things that they're actually are good at, right? As well. I mean, sure, they're good at taking photos, etc. But this is what
but
brings.
I'm thinking just as a photographer is to say, oh, I never offered video. I now offer video. Well, how much is that worth? Is that $99 for that video? Is it $149? Is it $249? Is it $249 and it includes 4 different styles of video? Whatever it is, I'm looking at that as a photographer is either adding value to maintain the existing relationship, or offering add-ons to make more money, because you got basically 2 ways you can make money. You can shoot more listings, or you can offer more add-ons and make more money per property. And next week, I'll be in Las Vegas at the PMRE conference, where I'm sure there'll be a number of sessions on creating video with these, a lot of gear, a lot of rigs, a lot of investment, a lot of training, a lot of post-production, and talking about, and then when I think of that kind of workflow, I said, well, if you think about a little pyramid of like who can afford that, well, there's a small percentage of
Yes.
clients that can afford that high-end production where a photographer has invested a huge amount of time in becoming an expert. But where is really the opportunity to make a lot of money? It's not on that small fraction of the market that can pay. It's at the masses, and at the mass, at the lower level of properties. If you can offer a client something at $99 that they now can be putting on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram or whatever it is, it's like, wow. And for the photographer, no extra work. Zero extra work if you're willing to say, what was delivered, good enough, I'll deliver it to my client. They want changes from what I deliver, great. That I can change anything you want on that, it's an extra $50, an extra $100 or whatever. Or that's all the photographer to be able to determine whether it's added value at no charge or offering it as an add-on or offering it as part of a bundle. Just personally looking at it, I think it's huge because there's so many photographers that actually don't shoot video because it's too much of a hassle. And if they've tried doing it, they've given up because the margin just hasn't been there. And so now Giraffe 360 is actually offering a way to be able to offer an affordable price point to add video. So that I just find that amazing. And I imagine there's all kinds of things that you're already thinking about in terms of how to either make different kind of videos or different templates of videos or
Yes.
more features of what you can do, even if that might be languages as an example.
And we didn't even cover all of it. There's also another big section with which is social posts, right? Which we call Spotlight, and under which we automatically generate also social posts, campaigns that go instantly live on Facebook, Instagram. We generate automatically printed posters, like brochures for email communication. So there's even more to what we covered in this kind of short session. That is on top of what you already mentioned. There's the bundle that comes automatically is huge, and you can upsell to a great degree from this one capture. It's a massive opportunity, business opportunity for any photographer in the US, and if they are willing to kind of change their mindset about that. Actually, the photo or a couple of just a virtual tour is basically not enough, and you cannot earn big margins by just offering us just stills or just images. That the value is actually in these bundles, and you can now price it. You have a great flexibility to scale your business and price it according to your needs. That's where the business opportunity is for the photographers that we are offering, really.
Yeah, Janis, I know we've gone a bit long. Would you have time to show flyers?
Yeah, I can. Let's need to swap.
My impression, if you're a photographer and you're presently offering photos and a virtual tour and floor plans, you now have an opportunity doing this almost the same workflow to be able to offer 3D floor plans in addition to 2D floor plans, to be able to offer video, to be able to offer social media posts in an automated campaign. And now we're really kind of moving you from photographer to content creator to actually being a digital marketing agency for real estate. And I imagine that may seem like a little foreign concept to some of our photographers, because what are you? What do you do? Well, I'm a photographer. I'm a real estate photographer. I'm a content creator. I think if you can get up to that tier of what you actually are as a digital marketing agency for real estate agents, you'll be able to charge way more than you're presently charging, and you'll be able to retain clients far easier, and you'll also be able to get new clients, because what a client wants is the marketing with the digital assets. It's not just give me the photos and then I have to figure out what to do with it. Okay, we were going to take a look at flyers.
Yes, so there's a lot more to explore, but I want to highlight this one more section, which is listing spotlight. When you enter this, you already can see some of what we were talking about. This is where you can instantly also post and share these videos that we saw previously, already tailored to the social media requirements. But you also can generate these social media posts, which are populated already with the information you tiled in regarding the property, or you as an agent. And these are, again, automatically generated. So let's see. One thing you can also do, which is this is kind of, you can create these campaigns automatically. I'm not going to go through all of the details, but we already have integration with Meta. But let's just press campaign. You can decide on whether it's just listed or etc. But while it's being generated, I just wanted to highlight, for example, here's auto-generated post for Facebook, right? So let's just open it up. It already picks up the great images from the property, adds the detail that you already added in other place regarding the property. It automatically crops and populates the content, visually stunning, and you can basically just press share. And this is, I'm viewing this through this desktop mode. You can either automatically just choose your account and press share. It will be automatically posted on your account in Instagram or Facebook, or you can actually also download it on your smartphone through a QR code. It's all done automatically, and you can post it through your phone manually. Either works, but it's the integration is what I wanted to highlight here. And if you move back, the campaign is kind of ready. It gives you, you can edit it, all the dates, all the content, but the magic is you can schedule a campaign. So within a given date and given time, a post will be done on behalf of you in your account, in your social account regarding this listing. And you can change the status as well. If it's just listed, is it for sale? Is it an open house? Is it sold? So this is something, of course, you can do manually. And but do you have time for that, right? So this is just another way to cover these multi-channel marketing channels more efficiently with this auto-generated content that, again, you can go in and edit every single one of them. If you don't like the automated text, right, you can choose your own, you can swap images, etc. So all of this also has this underlayer, which is editable by you as a photographer or user as well.
Can the photographer share this area of the back end? Can they share Spotlight with a real estate agent who can log in and actually manage their campaigns if they want to? Meaning the photographer can do it or the real estate agent can do it?
Yes, both is up to them to decide, but technically there's an option. A photographer can invite his client, in this case, let's say agent, as a guest user, and assign it to one specific property. So the guest user will only see that specific property, and then the agent can also participate in this campaign creation, make edits, add info. It's possible. We don't see this as a main flow in terms of how photographers and agents are collaborate. But if they have a good relationship and they're willing to collaborate, there's an option for them to do it as well. Or photographer can actually charge extra, right? I'm gonna run your also kind of marketing campaign for you. And this is where the photographer actually transitions from just an asset provider, but to some kind of a partner to an agent, a marketing partner, which obviously you can charge more for it. So the opportunity is there, and it's flexible enough for multiple scenarios, I would say.
Yeah, that sounds great. Interactive or printable flyers?
So let's see. This is another hiccup. Let's say approve. They should have been in a bottom automatically generated, but I might be under a spotlight that I don't see why we don't have them here.
All right, so let's do this. We'll take it off of screen share. Had that button worked right now within your internal backend demo, what is it that we would have seen in terms of an interactive a printable brochure?
Right. So you would see for I would say it's like a template, which to some degree is similar to a social post, but more tailored for this specific channel, which when it comes to the prints would just allow you to show more information, and you can download it as a ready to print format. And same goes for the emails. It's because every kind of channel.
Let me stay on the print for a second on the brochure. So, for example, I could specify I want a 2-page or a 4-page or an 8-page brochure, and then it would automatically populate all the photos, the property information, the floor plan.
I believe at the moment it's a single page format.
Okay. A 1-page flyer populates photos, agent information.
Exactly.
Okay, awesome. And then we didn't discuss virtual staging. Where is Giraffe360 today on virtual staging and or what's coming soon?
So we're pretty close with virtual staging as well. We have an integrated tool with Google Gemini that allows you to, like what it says, generate this virtual staging setup for the images, either remove the objects or populate them with prompts. You just type in the prompt and it will automatically populate with the furniture or with the setting based on the prompt. At the moment, that's internally in a beta testing mode. We see that we're gonna allow it to be tested with a hand-picked early access users in the following week. But when it's gonna be actually available for the wider Pro camera usage, it's too early to say. I'm just gonna say.
So today is Wednesday, November 12th, 2025. Are we talking about December, January, first quarter, second quarter of 2026?
As always, it's a bit risky to give a specific estimation, but November internal and beta mode, and based on that, we will be able to give a clear deadline when it's going to be in a general public. So okay. November, I would still say it's internal beta. Cannot access it all of the users, but December will be a more specific deadline when we're going to announce it.
Okay, so if for our viewers, if you'd like to see a demo of Giraffe360 virtual staging, Mikis Opelts, the co-founder CEO of Giraffe360, on his webinar number 7, actually demonstrated defurnishing a room completely at a touch of a button, and then typed in some words of what kind of furniture he wanted, and boom, it populated the room with furniture. If you go to the We Get Around Network forum, there's a search box. If you just type in webinar Giraffe webinar number 7, it's going to pop up in the search. You'll find it as part of the series of WGAN-TV podcasts where we've been repurposing the webinar within our show. So you can that was just demoed last week. And you can see the demo. It's actually it's pretty awesome. Did you want to talk about integrations in terms of Zillow, Realtor.com, any other integrations? Is there an easy, fast, simple way for agents to populate all their content received from the photographer to these listing platforms, MLSs?
Yeah, I think it's very important to touch this subject matter as well, because so far we have been speaking a lot of this almost off-portal marketing, but that's not the only, and by no means not the only way we're looking into. In US, MLS portals have a major, if not a main role when it comes to listings. So what we have done in our platform, a couple of things. One is that when you download these assets for the MLS integration, it automatically downloads them in the settings that are compatible with the MLS platform. For example, no logos are included in the images or virtual tour. They're adjusted to be compatible with MLS. So that's a key thing to highlight. The other aspect to highlight is, well, when it comes to the Zillow, obviously each portal have their own kind of rules, what kind of integration when it comes to embedded virtual tours, that will be still a case by case. What we're doing is we're building actually an ebook, which will include some of the guidelines when it comes to a multi-channel kind of asset packaging, let's call it like that. What kind of assets work best on what channel, and what you should consider when exporting to various places. Professionals are probably already aware of most of them, but it's still, you will be surprised how some minor details or nuances in the wording or the way you process the image can have a huge impact of how successful the listing is.
So I'm still a bit confused. As a real estate photographer sends off content in a single property website, is there a button to press to say upload it to Zillow.com, upload it to Realtor.com?
Not at the moment. So when it comes to the MLS, you would download the assets and then upload them yourself directly. There's not, as far as I know, there's not at the moment direct uploads to MLS platform yet. So, but when you download them, they're exported in a compatible way. So the only thing you need to do post downloading them is actually just add them to MLS portal. We have some integrations coming up when it comes to CRM, but I will not be the right guy to go too deep into that, as I might say something off.
And a little bit off topic, because we're focused on residential real estate. E57 files are available now, work in any CAD program. Do you know when RVT files will be available?
Cannot say on RVT, as you said, E57 and Poly are at the moment the formats that we allow for point cloud exports, which are also colored. So they're colored point clouds. On the RVT, cannot say. I forgot to check on it on that one. Yeah.
And then just switching gears a little bit, I'm a little bit confused on the workflow for a photographer. My impression is the photographer needs to do 2 passes in the house, one to shoot the 3D virtual tour, and then another pass to actually shoot HD photos.
Yes and no. So maybe let me bring the camera. When it comes to the panoramas and virtual tour, everything is done with the scan mode. So you get the floor plans, you get the virtual tour, you get the Gaussian Splat videos. That's just you scanning the property. When it comes to the stills, you have additional function where you can go into the still capture mode. So while you're doing the scans in between, you also can capture a still image in a more controlled environment manner. There's an additional function where you can actually kind of screen grab or crop out an image from the panorama, also built in, but that obviously is not the best way. So the best way is to capture the raw data right at the property. So that's why with the camera, you can also capture stills with it.
So I'm a little bit confused. So there's 2 settings. One is for the 3D virtual tour, and the other is for HD photos. And you press a button and you get whichever content you want.
Yeah.
And again, talking with Tom Sparks from Sparks Media Group, our WGAN-TV podcast co-host yesterday on this topic, one of the things we were kind of wondering about, why can't the AI just figure out that if I put the camera in each of the corners in order to get that better video, that it should also be able to extract the HD photo, because it should know on two sides their walls, and that wasn't meant to be. It should just know that the sweet spot is here. So I guess what I'm trying to get to is, well, are we getting to the point where Giraffe 360 will enable you to just shoot the space once rather than having to shoot it twice? You're shooting it twice, meaning I think what you described, Janis, is while you're shooting your 3Ds, you could also say, well, I'm going to change the camera in this bedroom and I'm going to shoot my photos. But essentially, you're shooting the space twice, once for the 3D tour, once for the photos. Why can't I just place the camera where I would normally shoot to do my still photos, but it's actually set on 360s? I've totally made it hard to understand. I only want to shoot the space once and have the AI know that this was meant to be a photo, and this 360 was that's in the corner of the room was not meant to put in the 3D tour. It was only meant to capture data to be able to use for the photos.
It absolutely makes sense. I mean, this is why we do beta testing. This is a brilliant idea. We don't have it yet. You're correct in that sense. I see technically that it is actually possible. It would take some effort on the development, but technically, you're right, it's possible. The reason why we are going this route way, the current way, it's technically was more feasible in the short term, the way the whole AI processing pipeline is built, because it would, and it's not impossible. It's just with the time and effort, it's doable to also ensure that
What are you doing this afternoon?
Doing the development process, I guess. Yeah.
Well, it just, maybe trying to speak a little bit for the We Get Around Network forum community. Some of our photographers are shooting the space 3 times. They're shooting it for a virtual tour, they're shooting it for photos, and they're also shooting it for Zillow 3D Home. And incidentally, where is Giraffe 360 on integration with Zillow 3D Home tours?
I see what you're saying. I actually don't know if I have the latest data when it comes to the Zillow, considering that there have been some late changes. There's no problem from our platform to download every single panorama, and using the Zillow, their own tool to recreate the panorama.
As I understand it, you have to use a Zillow 3D. I asked this question in the We Get Around Network forum yesterday. Is it possible to build a Zillow 3D Home tour using existing 360 panoramas? And the answer came back crystal clear. No, you can't do that. You need to shoot with a device, an Insta360 or Ricoh Theta camera that has the integration of Zillow, call it an app sitting on the device, that makes it possible to shoot. So what I'm asking is, when will Giraffe 360 enable have an integration with Zillow 3D Home? There's some photographers are sitting on the side. They would say, I'd get the solution today, but I don't want to have to shoot Zillow 3D Home photos. I'm shooting 3 times. Can you just shoot once? I just want to shoot once, and have you with the AI and the machine learning automatically say, okay, these are the photos, these are the tour, and these images get uploaded to Zillow 3D Home to create its tour. Shoot once, not 3 times.
Yeah. This is something I would need to check in as well. I don't have a straight answer. This is something I will forward you the email, post our conversation. I would say this will be the best way to do it.
Okay, we look forward for an update on that.
Yeah.
I'm going to list some assets and ask you for your final thoughts. Trying to keep track as you were talking on today's show. Essentially, the Giraffe Pro Camera is enabling a property website, HD photos, 3D virtual tour, 2D floor plan, 3D floor plan, video in 4 different styles, social media posts that either can be done one and done or actually automated, an email builder in order to generate emails about a property, a printable one-sheet flyer, an interactive map that also has nearby attractions, like schools, for example, virtual staging coming soon. I'm going to guess that's at least first quarter to 2026. I won't hold you to that. And also comes with an E57 file. None of that is charged separately. It's all wrapped into one price of $360 per month. You can get a discount if you sign up for a year, but you make a minimum commitment for 12 months. You're getting all these digital assets. You're getting them all today within around 5 hours, with the goal of getting that down to 2 hours. There's a human in the loop to help do quality control. There's a lot of deliverables that are possible as a result of Giraffe360 doing deep integration of large language models, machine learning, AI. Your thoughts on that list? I'm exhausted saying it, but it's actually it seems really disruptive in terms of how things used to be done, where you had these manual workflows, sending them off to different vendors or doing things yourself, and it's all automated.
I mean, you're spot on. The list, unfortunately, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but the list is really long. So it's almost hard to keep track of it, and that should be one of the should ring a bell that why this is so amazing. And the key reason why we actually can do it is through these AI automations that work in the background, AI-powered pipeline that we have created from scratch throughout the 9 years of the development, right? So it doesn't happen automatically. It took a development phase, but we saw that this digital first listing journey is the future of marketing real estate, and there's a demand for it, but supply is behind, right? So that was a key indicator that there is definitely a need for it. There's opportunity there. So we did a push to make this happen, right? And this price versus what you get, that's why it's so disruptive, because it takes away this manual labor or multiple vendors that you needed to juggle beforehand to even come close to this. And this flat price is because of the automation. It's just render time, and that's what enables this. And this is already now, and we are constantly improving it, like delivery times, the quality, bits here and there, more assets, and it will be so much easier for us now that once we have this setup ready to get more assets, to get more templates for the videos. So like our ambition is to by at one point have like 30 different videos generated automatically. You just pick and choose, because it's just automations and it enables to do it. So it is almost unbelievable and it's crazy, but it's there, and it speaks by itself. The main thing is the mind shift happening already, how the listings are created, posted. Now it's social, now it's video. So the mind shift also needs to happen also on the capture side, on the photographers and agents. And this is why we are kind of quite vocal about this future of digital first listing journey, because, for example, the biggest buying demographic now is millennials, right? Which is a new demographic. They have completely different expectations on the content. They want this immersive video. They want this immersive kind of 3D floor plan models. This is what drives their engagement, and this allows them to not even sometimes visiting the property to make the decision online if they want to purchase the property or not. So this is where I think the industries is definitely heading towards to. The question is how fast we can actually catch up to industry with these new tools.
it seems like if you're a relatively new photographer, you're thinking about becoming a real estate photographer, and you actually have watched the entire show, I would imagine the conclusion you would come to is, wow, I shouldn't be buying a DSLR camera or a mirrorless camera. I should just get this Giraffe 360, the Giraffe Pro camera, the whole Giraffe 360 platform, and everything that are all the digital assets that a client would want are created with this workflow. Just shoot the space, upload it to the Giraffe 360 cloud, and within 5 hours, all the deliverables come back. And you can decide whether you're going to charge a premium for same-day delivery, or you're going to charge, you're just going to add value to the client by getting your assets to a client's same day versus next day, and have that be a competitive advantage. I wonder, on perhaps more established photographers that have gone through this, well, it took me hours, if not days, to learn Photoshop, Lightroom. I've taken all this time to figure out my workflow for overseas editors, for photos. I've used yet another party for virtual staging. I use another tool for creating floor plans. My workflow just works. It's probably not the best workflow if I was starting out today based on what we're watching. Do you think we're going to have photographers that kind of look at Giraffe Pro Camera and go, wow, I should really rethink this. I always thought of myself as an artist, but maybe I should be thinking of myself as a business person, and a business person would say, what's the fastest, easiest, most efficient way to provide good enough assets to a client? Do you have any thoughts on that topic of perhaps more established professional real estate photographers looking at the Giraffe Pro camera?
Well, one thing is, when we look through what happened in a couple of decades, the industry constantly were changing, and photographers and agents were adapting to it. So it's just a normal part of development that you need to change, follow the trends, follow the technology developments, adapt and learn new things. So it's not something that is, it can be also some kind of, if you're very stubborn, it can be existential decision, right? You might just stay behind to a degree that you become, behind. But what the good news is, when we're building this tool, when it comes to Giraffe, we really have simplicity and ease of use in mind. So obviously, I know a lot about it, so it's hard for me to tell. But when we see the beta testing, the learning curve is okay. So it's not, even if you're not super tech savvy, which I think most photographers still are, and they actually appreciate kind of the technical nuances and the tech behind it. But even, let's say, if you're very, very early stages, it's pretty simple and straightforward to learn it. And then you can decide if your existing flow is better, if you still prefer HDR photos. I mean, go ahead and use them if it's what you actually want. And we're not on a single asset basis. For example, on the images, we're not saying we're better than HDR. The value is in this flow, in the time it gets delivered, in the package, and because we see you're not always, if the images is the only thing you ever want, maybe DSLR is still the way to go. But then you would need to manually process them, maybe outsource this processing. It will come with extra time, extra cost. So it's not, what I'm saying is, it's not always about maximum image quality. It's about the optimal and consistent quality. And Giraffe automation and the pipeline, what it generates is optimum and consistent quality across the assets, across your projects. So every next project, you have an expected good and high quality results. You're not going to have something random every next time, which sometimes can lead to if you are juggling vendors. So this, I think, will become, and the speed of delivery, I think those values will start to compete on a much greater degree than before, when it comes to everything was just about the quality or pixel density, etc. But I think these pipelines, how efficient you are, how many clients you can kind of support with your kind of capture and assets, that this is what will define who will be successful in their business, who will be more efficient. And so I think some change will happen eventually. And I'm also curious to see how the industry will adapt in general. What's going to happen with portal marketing, what new trends going to come out, what the millennials and the new generation is going to demand. So, and we will for sure constantly going to adapt and follow the trends as well and the needs of our users. So
I would imagine that if you're a real estate photographer, an established real estate photographer, and you're offering this suite of solutions with workflows with different vendors and things that you're doing yourself, that if you don't make the change to a solution like Giraffe360, the Giraffe Pro Camera, your competitors are, and all of a sudden you're going to find that your competitors are delivering presently within 5 hours and perhaps soon within 2 hours, and just blowing you away just by how quickly all the assets get delivered in professional assets get delivered. So it's either a threat or an opportunity. This disruptive change that I'd like to think is in a good way in our space. My final question for you, Janis, it's very tempting to look at Giraffe360 and look at the 3D virtual tour and then go to whatever solution that a photographer is presently using and going, oh, well, here's how this tour compares. Giraffe360 is charging $360 a month, save 10% with a voucher code WGAN. And go, oh, I'm going to dismiss it because when I compare the 3D tour of Giraffe360 versus how I'm presently shooting virtual tours, here's how that compares either in terms of what the deliverable looks like or in terms of pricing. Do you think that that's a fair comparison to make tour to tour?
No, I don't. And this is what I also touched upon, that if you just compare on a single asset basis, this is completely ignoring the fact that with the virtual tour, in this case, you get all of this large list of additional assets automatically through the same capture, through the same pipeline, within the same pricing, which is flat. It doesn't compound the pricing because you have more and more assets. So, I mean, technically, yes, you can compare it if you like. You compare, and quite often the comparison is still very subjective. Like, do I like the color scheme? Do I like the angle? Which is still you can do it, but it would not give the justice to how you should think about this comparison. I think you should compare it also on this business level, right? What can give you more profit, how you can earn more, how you can be more efficient, earning more money, and which tool enables you to reach your goals. And as we established here, most likely both of the tools, Giraffe360 or your other, is enabled to giving you professional level, high quality assets. If you want, and it's just often is more subjective than about who has the biggest spec. This is the reason why for us the camera is enabler, but the real value what we're offering is not the hardware. It's not really also, I mean, pipeline indirectly, but it's the value is that the speed of delivery, the assets you get, the diverse assets, and ability for you to make kind of business out of expand your business by using Giraffe360. This is the biggest value that we are kind of offering here.
Yeah, I would just add one more big value is and have complete control over the digital assets of your style of how you want your photos edited, how you want your 3D tour edited, how you want your floor plans to be presented, because the photographer has complete control over even how sky replacement is done.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Janis, thanks for being on the show today.
Thanks a lot for having me here. I'm super excited and happy to tell more about Giraffe. I could go for hours. Sorry for taking the conversation maybe longer than expected, but yeah, it was a pleasure for sure.
We'll have you back on the show. There's a lot to talk about on Giraffe 360 and Giraffe Pro Camera. You've been we've been visiting with Giraffe 360 Senior Product Designer Janis Beinerts. I'm Dan Smigrod, founder of the We Get Around Network Forum, and you've been watching WGAN-TV live at 5.